Today is my beloved husband's birthday. I secretly took the afternoon off to pick up his favorite cake from the bakery. We've both been so busy lately that we haven't had much time together as a couple. My husband doesn't really care much about his own birthday, but I think these moments are important. After picking up the cake, I stopped by the grocery store to buy ingredients for dinner, imagining his surprised face as I happily made my way home. But the moment I opened the front door, my mind went blank. What? What's going on? There was a pair of unfamiliar pink pumps in the entryway. As I stood frozen, I heard a sweet, unfamiliar female voice overlapping my husband's voice from inside the room. I couldn't believe this was happening, but I couldn't just ignore it. I decided then and there to get revenge. Hello? I took out my phone and dialed a certain number. My name is Maggie. I'm 32 years old. I've been working at a cafe I've known since my student days, where I'm now the assistant manager. The current manager is transferring to another branch, and I've just been selected as a candidate for the manager position. It's my first time in such a role, and I'm a bit nervous, but I have a reason to give it my all: my husband. I married Victor 3 years ago. He's kind to everyone, always respects my opinions, and that's why I fell for him. He's just as kind as when we first started dating. Just the other day, when I told him I was a candidate for manager, he was thrilled.
What? That's amazing.
Well, I was acting as the manager when our manager was helping at another store, so...
Even so, it means you're recognized as capable of being a manager. That's really incredible. Managing a whole store?
Victor, you're exaggerating, but I'm really happy you say that. I'll do my best.
If you're moving up, I need to step it up too. I need to work hard so we can buy our own house soon.
Yeah, that's right. Those moments of laughing together are when I feel happiest. I was determined to work harder for his sake. One day, I came home from work to find Victor not there. Usually, I get home later than him, since he works closer to home. There was no message from him on my phone. He usually lets me know if he's working overtime. But there was nothing today. What happened to him? Did something happen? I wondered as I sent him a message. But it went unread, and time just passed. Usually he replies even when he's working late. Why not today? Could something have happened on his way home? But I would have heard from the police or hospital if there was an accident. I let my imagination run wild and became needlessly anxious. All I could do was clutch my phone and pray for his safety. Several hours later, after 11 p.m., I finally heard the front door open. I immediately got up and hurried to the entrance. Victor! Welcome home. I'm so glad you're okay. As I rushed to him, half in tears, he momentarily grimaced, but then quickly returned to his usual gentle smile and patted my head.
Sorry I'm late. Some last-minute work came up.
So, it was overtime? But you usually reply. What happened? I was really worried about you.
Sorry about that. I was so busy today, I didn't even have a moment to check my phone.
It must have been tough. Why don't you go take a bath? It's ready.
Yeah, I will. Thanks, Maggie,
he said, embracing me gently. That's when I noticed a faint, sweet scent coming from him. Shocked, I just stood there frozen. He went to the bath without noticing my reaction. Left alone, I walked shakily to the sofa, sat down, and tried to make sense of things. That smell was definitely perfume. But he doesn't wear perfume, and I've never even bought any. So where did that scent on him come from? Driven by concern, I decided to ask him directly. As soon as he came out of the bath, I broached the topic. Hey, Victor, sorry to bother you when you're tired, but I need to ask you something.
What's up?
Well, I felt guilty as I looked at his kind face. Should I really be asking this? Despite my internal struggle, I decided to share my doubts. When you hugged me earlier, I noticed a really nice smell on you. It was sweet. You were at the office all day, right?
Yeah. I was at the office. Maybe the smell is from the female stuff? It could have transferred to me.
But I've never noticed it before. If it was from a colleague, I would have smelled it on you before.
It was just a coincidence today. Sorry if it made you feel bad. I'll be more careful next time.
Okay. He looked somewhat stiff as he shifted his gaze to his phone. His answer wasn't what I was looking for, but I couldn't push any further. From that day, I started to feel uneasy about his behavior. His occasional overtime became almost daily, and he would return home around midnight. Plus, he started going out with colleagues on weekends. Just last weekend, he said he was going on a trip with a coworker and left early without telling me where. He didn't bring back any souvenirs or show me any photos from the trip, despite my asking. This all made me start to suspect something was off. Unable to stand it any longer, I decided to check on him at his office. I left work earlier than usual, saying I had an errand, and headed to his office. I sat on a nearby bench and waited for him to come out. After about 15 minutes, I saw him leave the office. So it wasn't overtime after all. Is he meeting someone? I discreetly followed him, but he just walked towards the station. He didn't seem to be meeting anyone there either. Am I just being paranoid? Just as I was overwhelmed with guilt, I hurried over to him. Victor!
Maggie? What are you doing here? What about work?
Sorry, Victor. I actually doubted you. Holding back tears, I explained why I was there. He listened in silence, then sighed softly.
You worry too much, Maggie. Why would I cheat you? I'm married to you.
I know. Sorry. But you've been coming home late and spending weekends away. That's why I got anxious.
Sorry for making you feel that way. There's no way I would get involved with someone else while I'm married.
Yeah, you're right. I'm really sorry for doubting you.
It's okay. Anyway, let's go home now. How about we grab dinner somewhere?
Let's do that. I was thrilled about dining out with my husband after such a long time. All my worries and negative thoughts just melted away. I was convinced he hadn't betrayed me. But at that moment, I was oblivious to where he had really been planning to go that day. 2 weeks later, it was Victor's birthday. I had told him I would be a bit late from work, but planned a birthday party. In reality, I had taken the afternoon off to prepare for it. I usually don't take many days off, so my request was easily approved. After finishing my morning duties, I left work with a spring in my step to pick up the cake I had reserved at his favorite bakery. We have both been busy lately, and hadn't spent much time together. He himself didn't seem too interested in his birthday, but I thought these moments were important. After picking up the cake, I stopped by the grocery store to buy ingredients for dinner, happily picturing his surprised face as I headed home. But the moment I opened the front door, my world turned upside down. What? What's going on? There were unfamiliar pink pumps in the entryway. As I stood frozen, I heard voices from the bedroom.
Are you sure this is okay? Isn't your wife at work?
It's fine. She won't be back till tonight.
But are you sure she hasn't found out? Didn't you run into her at the station the other day?
Yeah, that was a close call. I just said I got off work early and went to eat, but sorry I couldn't see you that day.
It's okay. It would be worse if we got caught and I couldn't be with you anymore.
You're so cute when you say that.
His voice overlapped with that of the unfamiliar woman. They were in the bedroom, embracing each other. I was so shocked that I couldn't even cry. Without realizing it, I started recording their conversation on my phone, capturing the proof of their affair. I couldn't believe this was happening, but I couldn't ignore it. I had to get my revenge. This was my only chance. I took out my phone and called a certain number. Hello? Is this Lance? It's been a while. This is Maggie. I called Victor's father, Lance, not explaining the situation but asking him and his wife to come over immediately. He sensed the urgency and said he'd be right over. It's only a 15-minute drive from their house to ours. After hanging up, I called another number. Hello? Is this the police? There's a stranger in my house. Can you come right away? Yes, I called the police. After giving them my address, they said they would be right over. Waiting at the front door, the police and my in-laws arrived almost simultaneously. I followed them, walking behind everyone. We tiptoed to the bedroom door. I said, "That's the room," and the officer opened the door with force.
Police? What?
The officer was surprised to see Victor and his mistress. My in-laws were completely frozen. But my husband and the mistress were the most panicked. She tried to hide under the covers, while he turned pale and looked around frantically.
Maggie? What the hell?
What do you mean? I came home and heard a stranger's voice. So I called the police.
Why did you have to call my parents too? You're crazy.
Who's crazy here? Taking advantage of the fact I wouldn't be home at night to bring your affair partner into our house?
What? Why are you home at this time? You're usually later.
It's your birthday. I thought I'd surprise you by coming home early. And this is what I find? He wanted to say something, but eventually fell silent. The officer, having heard the conversation, turned to me.
So, what should we do about this woman? We can take her to the station for questioning.
Please do. Take her right away.
Yes, ma'am.
I yanked the woman out of bed, threw her clothes at her, and handed her over to the officer. The police escorted her out, leaving my in-laws and us in the house. Victor attempted to sneak back under the covers, but his father sharply reprimanded him.
What the hell are you doing, Victor? With another woman? In your own house? Despite Being married? It's not what it looks like, Dad. It's a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? We saw it with our own eyes. What a fool you are. I'm sorry, okay? She was just a fling. I never intended to divorce Maggie. You think Maggie would want to stay with you after this? We no longer consider you our son. What? Dad, I'm your son. Are you going to abandon me? Shut up. You're disowned. Don't ever cross our doorstep again.
After saying this, my father-in-law sincerely apologized to me. It wasn't their fault. The blame lay solely with Victor and his mistress. Victor still didn't seem to grasp the situation. He hastily dressed, then turned to me with a forced smile.
Maggie, I'm sorry, okay? But you're the only one I love.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
Of course. I only love you. She was just a fling, so there's no need for a divorce.
Ignoring that his parents were there, I grabbed Victor by the collar and raised my voice. Cut the crap! You love me? She's just a fling? You have no idea how much you've hurt me. Finding out about your affair on your birthday? There's nothing worse. You made me feel miserable, and you're going to take full responsibility for that.
Don't be so mad. I won't see her again. I'll delete her number.
Do whatever you want. I won't see you again, and I'll delete your number too.
Wait, you're joking, right? We're married, are we?
Do you think I'm joking? I have no intention of continuing a relationship with a scumbag like you. I'd rather live alone than continue being married to you. Don't ever interfere in my life. Again. His face turned pale, and tears filled his eyes. He called my name several times, but I ignored him and left the room. Later, I packed my things and moved back to my parents' house. After settling down, I consulted a lawyer and filed for alimony from Victor and his mistress. The divorce proceedings are also underway. The recorded evidence and the fact that my in-laws witnessed the affair are working in my favor. The lawyer is skilled, so it's only a matter of time before the divorce is finalized. Surprisingly, it turned out that his mistress was also married. She and Victor are facing a lot of trouble, being sued for alimony by her husband. Their relationship soured due to the alimony issues. They argue constantly and are unlikely to end up together even after my divorce is finalized. I informed Victor's company about the divorce and its reasons, so he's lost his standing and is facing a possible transfer to a regional branch. All I can say is they got what they deserved. As for me, after staying with my parents for about a month, I rented a house near my workplace. I've officially become the manager, and I'm living fulfilling days. Though it ended in divorce, I have no regrets. What matters most is how I live my life happily from here on out.